Hey ladies, so yesterday I started talking with you about playful words, and we had some really fun examples of ways to be playful with our words in our marriage. And then we had emergency here with 4 kids. There's never any like great big window if they're awake where there's not some emergency to get your attention. Do you all have that too? Like you get on the phone, they were fine before, and all of a sudden they're competing for attention. I don't know, maybe it's just in my house. But so we talked about some ideas for kind of helping when there are situations that could become dramatic. Okay, when there are things that happen just time and time again that always lead to a fight or hurt feelings or whatever, there are ways to kind of practice that and get yourself ready so that you can respond differently. And that's kind of the thing I think I didn't say as well. And this idea of playful words is about stopping our pattern of reacting out of emotion to situations that we know are coming, right? We know there are certain situations that are coming. And so when we kind of practice it and we get ourselves ready, like I know, this has happened, and in the past we've had a fight over whatever. So I'm going to practice in the mirror, find like a playful, sassy, flirtatious response so that I can respond instead of react, and it just changes the dynamic, right? And instead of having drama and fighting or hurt feelings or whatever, instead now we have a moment that could be playful, it could be fun, it just eases that tension just enough so we can keep going, with whatever part of our day, and maybe talk about it after, like right then. But sometimes for us, like even though I've given a playful, sassy response, there's still a piece in me where that emotion was a real thing, right? And so I have to calm down and get to a place where I can rationally, calmly, logically have a conversation later and come back. So yesterday I gave the example, and in the article I gave the example of spaghetti, that I can't make this meal to save my life. It just doesn't come out right. But his response to, we're almost 16 years into this, his same response for 16 years to the fact that I can't make spaghetti, it can be hurtful. And after all this time, for him to still not see that hurts my feelings, that makes me feel insecure, that all of these things later, right, after the heat of the moment has passed, when our emotions have cooled down, then I can come and talk with him. And in a calm, cool, collected way, say, when you said XYZ, it made me feel. And it's very important to kind of have the conversation that way. So the difference is, right, in the past, I would go and say, you always come in and you get on me about the spaghetti and it hurts my feelings. And so immediately he's on the offensive, right? He's like, man, I always do that. No. And so we're going to fight. So we have to take always and never out of our vocabulary, just period. They start a fight every time we use those two words. And so instead we let the offense stand alone, okay? I could say, when you came in and said, who messes up spaghetti, that really hurt my feelings. You know that I struggle with this. I can't be perfect at everything, but you make me feel like I have to be. And you've done this a lot in the past, okay? I'm still not saying always, but I am saying this is kind of a pattern that I see, and it's hurtful. All right, so now this is the second part of the playful words, okay? In this situation, right, we are two humans. No matter how much we work on our marriage, no matter how much we work on ourselves, no matter how much we are digging into the Word, letting God change us and form us into His image, we're all going to have flaws, okay? He is always going to have a thing that He does wrong that drives me crazy. I am always going to have a thing that I do wrong that drives Him crazy. And you know what, in some situations, they're bad things, right? There are things that are just abusive, hurtful. I'm not talking about those things, okay? Here, I'm talking about the regular, everyday, quirky, crazy, He won't throw his laundry in the basket. He won't load the dishwasher before he goes. He leaves a mess everywhere. He, has careless words. He doesn't consider my feelings before he speaks. I'm talking about just the ordinary humanness things, okay? In those cases, we can use our words playfully, wisely, in a more feminine way, so that it gets him off the offensive, okay? So this idea of playful words is about creating an atmosphere in our conversation where he doesn't feel like he's on trial, where he doesn't feel like I'm his mother, where he doesn't feel like he has to defend himself in some way. We're just having a conversation, all right? So let's stick with the spaghetti example, because honestly, it just happens so often in my house. There are a lot of other examples, but this one is, one of those. So when I say, I've already said, you said this hurt me. And you do it quite often, and I wonder if you recognize that pattern, okay? And then we're going to throw in some feminine phrasing here, all right? And just bear with me in this idea of feminine. What I mean is, it's a way that we can say things that stirs within our man this, okay, I am her man. I should step in, to that chivalrous, manly leadership role, okay? There are some ways we can say it that are going to trigger that for him, all right? And right or wrong, we can debate it all day long. In the study that I wrote, I know a lot of y'all are going through that with me. We'll talk about later on how, women have progressed and we have taken on a lot of roles and we can do a lot more things, but no matter how much we progress, our men really, unless you have like Mr. Man, like the awesome man, our men are still men, and they have that deep need inside of them to protect us and to cherish us and to take care of us. It's still in there. They still want to be the man, but they need our permission sometimes to feel like that's okay, to feel like they're not going to step on our rights, our, I'm not going to go into that. If you're in the study, we'll talk about that a lot, but really it has to be prefaced with a lot, right? If you're in the study, you just say, we've been building up to it, and that's coming next week, not this week, next week. So anyway, when we phrase things in a more, in that way, in that feminine way, it just turns that piece on for him. So for example, we might say, man, it hurts me, and you do it quite a bit. Do you realize that it hurts me and that you've done it several times in the past? And we're not going to list those times, right? We're not trying to put him on the defensive. And we'll say things like, I expect more from such a man as you. Do you know, like, you're a better man than that. I know you have it in you to treat me better than that. It builds him up. You're affirming him. You're believing in his character. You're not saying you're just a no good, worthless, you'll never get this right. You're not. It's this different twist on how we say it. And in a feminine way, in that, girly, just like I told you, I practice in the mirror how I'm going to give him a little sass and a little flirtation. I practice in the mirror how I'm going to put on that feminine demeanor, just very soft. I'm not attacking him. I'm not showing him in my face the anger and the hurt, because it's going to shut him down. At least my man has shut him down in a second. And I'm just going to affirm what I know about him. I know you are a good man, and you would never hurt me intentionally. I know you just didn't realize it. So I'm just letting you know that really hurts me, and I know you can do better next time. Those kind of things, right? There are lots of different phrasing. I'd love to know if you use this technique in your marriage. What kind of phrasing do you use to affirm him, but also say, there is a standard, and I know you can reach it. I know you're a godly man. I know you're a good father. I know you love me and want to cherish me and want to provide for us. You would never do anything to hurt our family. Those affirming things that say, hey, you are doing something wrong here, and do you realize it? You can do better. We can say it without being a nag, without being critical, without being hurtful. affirming their character and communicating our position. Do you know, like, I don't want you to walk all over me. I'm going to make my voice known in a respectful, feminine way that kind of stirs in him a desire to do better next time, to not yell at me about the spaghetti anymore, that kind of thing. And it's just a fun way to be playful, just to be playful in our speech, to be not aggressive, not nagging, just to kind of control our tongue. And the verse that helps me with this desire to practice it is Proverbs 12:18. And it says, "There is one who speaks like the piercing of a sword, but the tongue of the wise promotes health." And it speaks to this way that we can talk and be right. Okay, ladies? In no way has the situation changed. In no way is he off the hook for hurting me. In no way are we being locked on, okay? But there are ways we can say what needs to be said that don't come across disrespectfully, that don't come across argumentatively. You know, it talks about, you know, it's better to live in the roof of a house than with a contentious woman. I don't want to be a contentious woman, but I also want my voice to be heard. I also want to say, please stop getting on me about this one particular thing. I want to say it in a way that he'll hear it, that he'll want to do better. I want him to have confidence that he can do better. It's not just the way he is, and he's always going to be that way because that, and it's not the worst sin in the world. He's, you know what I mean? Like that kind of way that we can get into thinking. We're saying, you know what? You can do better. I believe you can do this so much better. Like, I love you that much. I have that much faith in you. So that is the second part of the playful words that I had hoped to talk to you all about yesterday. So it worked out well because the Facebook videos are shorter. I'm awful about that. Oh, my videos are always too long. But I love just sharing with you all and talking with you. And I loved the response. Tell me, what are the ways that we can do this? Let's give some ideas, right? Those are my ideas. I would love more ideas. What are some other ways that you all can think of to affirm our husbands but state our position in a way that he'll hear, that's respectful, and stirs in him that masculine, manly thing that wants to do better, that wants to love his family and his wife better? I cannot wait to read them in the comments later when you all are off work and you're checking out the video. Okay, and I will talk to you later. Hey, Lauren, there is one more piece, so I'll probably get to that tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. It might be Thursday or Friday, but there's one more piece to this playful words that I want to talk through with you all as we talk about making our marriage more fun, less dramatic, less boring, less stressful, just more fun this month and how we can do that. So I will talk to you all later. You have a blessed day.